Since 2010, more than 200 idol groups have debuted. Out of the successful group, only a handful could be said to be groups of a mixed gender. Most idol groups represent a specific gender identity, and the all-girl, all-boy groups are by far the most popular. In Korea, trainee must meet certain standards to have the chance to debut as a group. Female idol must be thin, soft-spoken, and beside a very few exceptions, they embody feminine beauty standards, such as having a long hair, nice makeup, and clear skin. Their songs are soft in tone, and the lyrics are often very feminine. For example, Kissing You by Girls' Generation. In contrast to male idol groups, girls groups are not often given the chance to perform hip-hop dance choreography, but instead they perform ditzy dance moves that highlight their fragility, passivity, and cuteness. Girls' Generation is arguably the most successful girl group in Korea. Many of the girls have gotten plastic surgery due to the demands of the industry, though they are role models for girls in Korean society. As you can see, they are all very thin, and though they are expected to dance on stage, their outfits are short and revealing to appeal the male crowd. 장난스런 너의 키스에 기분이 좋아 여기 약간 슴슴한 표정 지어도 언젠가 나는 수녀처럼 내 입술은 사근사근 그대 이름 부르죠 대화 나를 맞추며 걷고 너의 두 손을 잡고 네 어깨에 기대어 말하고 싶어 고마워 사랑해 행복만 줄게요 Kissing you all my life. Contrastively, male idol groups are required to embody male beauty standards in order to debut as a musical group. They must be attractive, tall, and physically fit in order to fit the industry standard. Their pop song versus ballad tend to be aggressive in style with strong beat, and the performance often involves hip hop or break dancing choreography rather than dainty cute movement. Popular group BTS has become a frontrunner in recent years for the idol of a male K-pop group. They embody an aggressive hip-hop style in both clothing and dance, wearing bandana and street style while performing hip-hop choreography. Other popular groups such as EXO and Big Bang also embody a hip-hop style which lends itself to a presentation of aggressive masculinity, while the boys are encouraged to embody softer image while performing ballad. This is done in order to appeal to female fans, which still helps them achieve a performance of a masculinity through heterosexuality.
While there are a lot of popular variety shows in South Korea, I will be focusing on Annyeonghaseyo. Translated to Hello Counselor in English, Annyeonghaseyo involves average Korean citizens writing their concerns to a panel of 4 comedians and several celebrity guests. The concern is discussed and then judged by a studio audience. While I find the concerns to often be uncommon, severe, or sensationalized, the casual conversation that takes place between the judges, as well as the reactions of the studio audience, say a lot about how gender is perceived in Korea. As a physically strong, taller, overweight woman, Lee Young-ja is the butt of many well-received jokes from the other panelists, in which her physical strength and size, and therefore her overall undesirability, equates her to that of a man. As a comedian, she's adopted this image of manly for comedic effect by physically intimidating the other judges through throwing pillows, punching, and standing to show off her height. In one episode, she's cheered on by the panelists and the audience for lifting a small table, demonstrating her manly image. In another episode, a young girl explains how her mother believes women shouldn't weigh over 50 kilograms. While everyone thinks this is ridiculous, Youngja still makes a joke that she must then belong to a third gender because she's overweight. This demonstrates that gender in Korea is dictated much more strictly than in the West, as there are several more subcategories required for correctly performing femininity in Korea, whereas in the West, being overweight may make you undesirable by society's beauty standards, but not less of a woman. One episode featured a husband concerned that his wife had become similar looking to Bruce Lee. As you can see by Youngja's expression in the top left image, the suggestion that a woman was muscular enough to be a bodybuilder pulled surprise and apprehension from the panelists and the audience. The men proceeded to mock the idea of a muscular housewife. However, once she was revealed as someone cute and pretty and petite, the audience and panelists quickly sided with her, expressing that as long as she was performing proper femininity as a wife, she was also allowed to be muscular. This implies that if she were larger or more masculine in appearance, she would have been criticized for failing to physically embody femininity. Under the influence of Korea's patriarchal society, it's impossible to separate ideas of gender from heterosexual identity and therefore from the overbearing marriage culture that is commonly and casually discussed. The panelists often mention the marital status of the celebrity guests during the introduction, though it's otherwise irrelevant to their careers and the talents that they showcase on the show. The show overwhelmingly features concerns about marital issues, though, which suggests the prominence of the topic of marriage in day-to-day society as well as the marketability of the subject to the general public. Men and women are criticized equally in the concerns for failing to be respectable husbands and wives. Common criticisms of women are failing to uphold femininity by not wanting children, having unflattering body types, and not wanting to marry in the first place. While common criticisms of men are that they won't allow their wives to leave the house or to have social lives, or that they're too absorbed in hobbies that neglect the family, such as fishing, playing games, or drinking. What's important to note, though, is that these gendered expectations are often met with what seems to be appropriate sympathy or animosity by the judges and the audience, which means that although physical presentation of gender is still considered very important in Korea, the mandate of patriarchal society seems to be lessening in today's social climate. Therefore, the subcategories of social gender seem to be considered less important within marriage dynamics than they used to be. To conclude, it's evident that in order to live a successful life in Korea, one must abide by strict gender roles. It's necessary for men to be very masculine and for women to be very feminine, with much less wiggle room than in the West. This is largely a result of historical tradition and is still being enforced by media as well as by the rest of society. Though we're seeing some loosening of social gendered expectations, beauty ideals and the importance of heterosexual relationships are still requiring Korean people to rigidly perform their genders on a day-to-day basis in order to fit in, uphold Chaemyeon, and to achieve Korean ideals of success.